The following podcast contains adult themes, sexual content, and strong language. Basically, all the good stuff. Hi guys, we are back, and we just want to say a massive, massive thank you to Squarespace for supporting this episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
We actually have our own Squarespace website.
We do indeed.
Yeah, Jamie and I have a bit of an apology about that because we've kind of just left all of that to
Stop
you.
mentioning it. He's fine. He can do it all on his own. He's a grown-up boy.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do.
I presumed because you did it, yeah.
Oh, thank you. And there's a lot of themes to choose from.
Yeah, because it looks really good, our website, and generally your taste is iffy at best. I think you'd agree, Jamie, so...
This comes from the woman wearing that blouse.
Don't point at this.
Actually, do you know what? It's true.
What is it, dice?
I'm concerned because it's a dress. How short is it if you think it's a blouse?
Luck be a lady tonight. It is just full of dye.
It's disgusting. And considering you guys are absolutely no help, there's 24/7 customer support.
Oh, I see. We've already been removed from the equation.
He's got his little friends at Squarespace.
Better not be doing a little Squarespace podcast on the side.
A rival podcast. James, how dare you?
My dad wrote a customer services manual.
Yeah, so they're on hand all the time to help you, and God knows, sometimes I need help. They don't help with personal problems.
I am the last person that likes to give you a compliment, James, but it does look really slick.
It looks great, actually. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Very professional, very clean.
And if our listeners want to set up their own website, they can start their free trial today at squarespace.com using offer code MDWAP.
Huh?
My dad wrote Porno, MDWAP.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take that.
And they can get 10% off their first purchase. You are welcome.
Well, guys, are we ready?
I think it's time.
It's book 2.
Here we go.
The wait is over. I have Belinda Blink 2 in front of me, along with James and Alice. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Are you excited?
So excited, I can't even express it.
I can't believe we're here again.
It has been a bit of a wait, but I think it's a wait that's been worth it because I think we're all now ready. It's like Jaws 2, just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
We're going to need a bigger dildo. How's Rocky been?
Rocky is brilliant. He is loving the response of My Dad Wrote a Porno Series 1.
He's a celebrity.
Well, he's a known author, which...
He's a notable author.
He's an author of note, which is good for him.
People are desperate to see what he looks like as well.
He is the Banksy of porn.
Well, Alice and I have seen him.
He's a very dashing chap. Do you think he's at a stage now where he would get the trimmings of a national treasure?
What are the trimmings of an
Like a blue plaque, maybe, somewhere notable named after you, like a theatre or a public building like a library.
The Rocky Flintstone Library.
Amazing. I'm joking in part, but 2 million people have downloaded this. That makes him, I'd say, as well known as Mary Berry.
Do you think the Queen's listened?
I would not doubt it.
But we do have listeners in the Vatican City, so the Pope's listening.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
How many?
I think 2.
But that's even more incriminating, surely.
It's the Pope and a Cardinal.
We should have used an encrypted line. No.
They are so busted.
Who knew this would be the scandal on the Catholic Church?
Okay, well, guys, as is customary with Belinda Blink books, it's not just called Belinda Blink 2, because that would be madness. So
there's a colon.
Semi. Is there a semi?
There's a semi.
Has Rocky got a semi on? Amazing.
So the full title is Belinda Blink 2, semicolon, the continuing story of, comma, dripping sex,
Ripping sex.
passion, and big business deals.
Are you sure it's deals?
Deals.
What the hell is...
Semicolon.
Oh.
Keep following the sexiest sales girl in business as she continues to earn her huge bonus by being the best at removing her silk blouse.
This is the title.
Author, semicolon, Rocky Flintstone, semicolon.
What is happening?
What the hell is dripping sex?
I don't want to know.
And also, you can't do a call to action in the title.
Continue the story of
You
dripping
can't
sex.
do that.
So that's the full title, but we will just be using Belinda Blink 2 for ease.
Sport.
I know, I'm sorry.
I don't want to highlight myself as not being fully up on book 1,
Oh, okay.
but it's a bit of a blur.
Yeah, we should kind of have a think about where we left Belinda. So she just finished up with the Duchess in the chalet, and I think they'd said their goodbyes, hadn't they? They'd like exchanged email addresses and stuff.
And then the Duchess literally sped off into the morn.
Yeah, she did, in that cloud of dust. And then Belinda went back to the office?
She was back in the office by 9:30, which is only half an hour late.
So do we think that we're going to be starting where we left off, so to speak? Or do we think...
I don't know how rocky that is. I feel like it'd be more curveball for him to be like, it's 2084.
Belinda,
an old woman reminiscing about her time in the maze.
the Duchess is just a head in a jar.
Okay, guys, so are we ready?
Oh my God.
Rocky Flintstone, what are you going to throw at us?
Sorry, I'm just so excited.
I've got really hot in the face.
Okay.
I can't believe it's book 2, chapter 1.
I know, it's crazy. So do you want to have a sweepstakes on what the first chapter is going to be called of book 2?
I dread to think.
Where do we think Rocky's going with this?
Well, he loves a timed chapter.
Yeah, I was thinking, will it be like 9:31 or something?
Oh, interesting.
Monday morning meeting?
I mean, that would be a logical guess. It's not that.
Does it have her name in the title?
No, it has got a name. One that I'm not sure we'll be allowed to use, but anyway.
Tell us.
Okay. Belinda Blinked. 2. Chapter 1. Ritz Spa Gossip.
Oh, God.
What does that mean?
I mean, we're about to find out. Ritz Spa Gossip. Belinda's phone rang.
God.
We're in it now.
I only thought she had a pager.
Yeah, has she ever used a phone?
It won't be a smartphone.
Belinda here, she answered. It's Tony. Get your ass into my office pronto.
Wow.
Yes, sir. On the double, replied Belinda, feeling distinctly upset.
Already, more than she ever spoke in book 1.
Yeah, this is incredible dialogue.
Yeah. Why is she upset?
Why is she upset?
After all she'd done for the company yesterday, she didn't need to be treated like the office cat.
The office cat. I haven't worked in one office without a cat.
Does she mean her pussy? Is that what she means? Because it does not get treated well.
It's such a stray. It's not microchipped, that bad boy.
God knows it should be. That's given us an indication where we're at.
It must be Monday morning.
It must be Monday morning.
Yeah, you're right.
It's literally 9:31.
What a slow pace.
After all she'd done for the company yesterday, she didn't need to be treated like the office cat. But it was Tony, the MD, so she'd better get along quick-ish.
Is that like youngish?
Yeah.
It's the return of the ish. 2 minutes later, Belinda was standing outside Tony's door.
That was quickish.
She mentally steeled herself and knocked.
I don't understand what she's done wrong.
Come in, answered a gruff voice. Ah, Belinda, that was fast. Sit down. Belinda did as she was told, still furious at his demeanour to her.
I don't understand what he's done.
There's a lot of tension here that I feel
Loads
hasn't really
tension.
been
Also,
explained.
Belinda doing what she's told. God, this is a turn up for the books. The most passive woman in the pots and pans industry.
So out of character. He passed her a fax and said...
Fax? What is a fax? Belinda, what is this?
No, he didn't.
A printed email.
He passed her a fax and said, what do you make of that? It was an official order from Peter Rouse's supermarket company for 5,000 units of utensils.
Of the Oxford Runner range.
Wow. God.
Fantastic, breathed Belinda.
Fantastic. How'd you breathe a word?
Thanks, Voldemort.
Belinda, it's not fantastic. It's bloody unbelievable. What did you do with him yesterday afternoon in that bloody maze?
Well,
You do not want to know.
Where do I start? Basically. Ah, that would be a professional secret, Mr. MD, sir, replied Belinda.
oh, shut up.
Well, it's a sweet deal for the company. We've had some of these units in stock for at least 6 months, and this will clear our inventory very nicely.
How depressing is that, though? She shagged to get rid of a bit of old stock that they couldn't shift out of the warehouse.
They've had it for 6 months.
Not even the new range.
But the quality is still good, Tony, said Belinda, fearing they were going to sell Rouse's organisation a pup.
A pup? A seal pup? What do you mean a pup?
A pup, that's a new one to me.
Does that mean a duff?
Yeah, I think so, like a duff.
A cat and a pup?
The office cat, a pup. It's like animals do the funniest things.
Can I just draw attention to the fact that nothing's happened so far?
To be fair, we're only like 4 sentences in.
And to be fair, we're reading Belinda Blink too, so what did you expect?
What did you sign up for?
But the quality is still good, Tony, said Belinda, fearing they were going to sell Rouse's organisation a pup. The best, of course. It's just our sales force can't get any outlets for them. But thinking on it, perhaps the continent is where we should have been selling them in the first place.
Worst sales team ever.
Also, famously, it's not the best range. If they can't shift it, then it's not the best, is it? It's a pup. It's an absolute pup.
This whole book's a pup.
Oh my God, this book is a pup.
Great, said Belinda. I'm in Amsterdam this Thursday and Friday to tie up the loose ends with Peter. So I'll keep in touch on this one.
You know what tie up the loose ends means?
I certainly do.
Meeting now officially over, said Tony.
As everyone does at the end of a meeting.
Also, it wasn't a meeting.
Also, the quickest meeting in history. Belinda left the office feeling stunned. It wasn't every Monday morning a new major client came on board. Whatever next?
How is she stunned? He essentially said he was going to put in a massive order.
Yeah. But maybe she thought a massive order into her vagina, not into her bank account.
Well, it's not into her bank account, it's to still spots and pans. So
point.
she's acting in the best interest of the business. So
we're starting on a high.
Belinda's successful.
Yeah, finally, the hard work's paying off.
Back in Belinda's office, Giselle popped her head round the door and said to Belinda, "He's given us some free passes to the Ritz, so why not come with me today to the spa?"
by the way, there are no such things as free passes to the Ritz. It's not Alton Towers. It's not Drayton Manor Park. Like, there is no free pass to the Ritz.
Pass.
Fast pass.
Into the sauna.
Speedy boarding.
Welcome back, Giselle, should we say?
Oh, yes, welcome, Giselle. Good to have you with us again.
Good to see you.
Don't trust her as far as you can throw her.
Thanks, Giselle. That's fantastic, Belinda grinned. Come on, let's get out of here. Pronto.
9:30.
Yeah.
On a Monday morning, second day of work.
To be fair, she's earned some loo days, hasn't she?
And she's just got that massive order in. The woman deserves a bit of...
All right.
The Ritz Spa was in central London, near Knightsbridge.
Near the Ritz, I presume.
Is it near Knightsbridge?
No.
It's near Green Park, is it not?
Yeah, it's nowhere near Knightsbridge. But maybe the Ritz Spa's not next to the Ritz.
The Ritz Spa was in central London. Oh, near all those cut shops, probably.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
How convenient.
Near Knightsbridge. So the two girls took the tube. At the spa entrance, they passed over their admission cards and let everything just happen.
Admission cards?
Let everything just happen. Sure.
I'm just going to put that admission card there, and then if everything could just happen, I'll wait here.
The cards were of VIP status, and they were immediately led to a lounge serving champagne. They left their valuables in a small room where they also changed into white robes and collected 3 large towels each.
3?
No limit on the towels, guys. This is the Ritz.
VIP?
A staff member then guided them to the mudroom.
Oh, God.
God.
I feel it's about to start.
Is this a leather room coated in mud?
Dear ladies, we are honoured to have you join us today. Please feel free to ask for refills or anything else you might desire. First, you will experience the mudroom, then the saunas, then the crystal pools, and finally, the beauty salons. The whole process...
The beauty salons.
Is that a chapter list? Are we going to be in the spa for the whole book?
Is this the index?
This is Belinda Blink too, everyone.
Chapter 4, the crystal pools.
The whole process takes around 5 hours.
Jesus, sweet baby Jesus. That's a long time.
So lunch will be served when you want it. Belinda and Giselle looked at each other. Plenty of time to chat then, said Giselle. Lots to hear, I think, replied Belinda.
Lots to hear.
Oh my God, the stuff those two are going to gossip about.
Well, it is Ritz Spa gossip, so...
Oh my God, it's classic Ritz Spa gossip.
We're at the Ritz Spa gossip. Finally, it makes sense.
Giselle relaxed into her mud pack and sipped her champagne thoughtfully.
That sounds like a Rocky word for bottom. Just going to sit on my mud pack.
Oh.
Gross.
Belinda, do you mind if I tell you everything? I mean, even the stuff I kept from Tony.
Wait. So when the Duchess was like about to unveil all that stuff and like reveal all of those things, could this be like some of the exciting stuff that we didn't find out?
As big an anticlimax as that.
I mean, it could be. Let's believe it is until we find out what it actually is, because I feel it's going to be less exciting than that.
So wait, is Giselle going to tell Belinda what she was up to in those in the time?
I imagine so. Yeah, Giselle, if it means that much to you, then I'd be honoured.
Playing
said
it cool,
Belinda.
Isn't she? Not trying to be too keen.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like coaxing it out
Like,
of
if
her.
you want to tell me, fine. I'm just going to place this dictaphone on the table. This is entirely unrelated.
Then I'd be honoured, said Belinda. So spill the beans.
Is that what it says? Tell me everything.
Well, as you know, just after the barbecue, Tony placed you in the maze. He then took me to the building which houses Sir James's antique cars. It's quite large, and in the centre there was a 4-poster bed.
What, in the centre of a garage full of cars? Can I just say, before we delve into this any further, I like that he's kind of
Calling back.
Yeah, I like that.
Because we thought we would never have those huge gaps filled.
Yeah, it's like a flashback.
It's giving me more respect for Rocky.
Yeah, it's making me think this is an actual book.
Giving me food for thought.
It's early days.
Okay.
Let's not give him too much credit. Tony tethered me to the 4-poster with some ridiculously pink-coloured plastic handcuffs.
So ridiculous.
Surprise, surprise.
Belinda nodded. She knew only too well this scenario. He told me he would be back in 2 hours and to enjoy the bed. Nothing happened for the first hour, and I thought...
Literally nothing happened. Sounds like the start of this chapter.
Yeah. Nothing happened for the first hour, and I thought, well, fun party that hasn't happened. At least I'll be comfortable here on this posh bed.
Such small dreams Giselle has. Just such simple desires.
Yeah.
Then
Oh.
I heard the singing.
What?
Hang on. Singing.
Gospel.
Was it a gospel choir?
The cast of Sister Act enter. What do you mean, singing? Asked Belinda,
Precisely what I was thinking.
now intensely interested.
Well, weren't you at the beginning when she said, can I tell you everything that I didn't tell Tony?
Yeah, spill the beans.
That's what it means.
It was an old Irish song called...
Is it Paddy O'Hamlin?
With his little harp.
Playing in his harp.
What do you mean singing? Asked Belinda, now intensely interested. It was an old Irish song called Will You Go, Lassie, Go?
Oh my God.
Is that an old Irish song?
It is. It
Okay.
is a classic. It's a staple of the Morton household.
Haven't you sung it for us before?
Probably drunk.
Will you give us a little burst?
Will you go, lassie, go, and we'll all go together. Da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Will you go, lassie, go? And sing.
Lovely.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful melody.
Quite mournful for someone that's about to approach someone to have sex.
Yeah, you're right. It's quite, I'd say, downbeat.
It was an old Irish song called Will You Go, Lassie, Go? How very apt, said Belinda.
Is it?
I don't know, is it?
Oh, as in go, lassie,
Oh, should we go, Lassie, go? Yeah.
But it's not go, lassie, go. It's like go, lassie, go.
Did she think it was like a Rihanna song? Go, let's go, let's go. That's my impression of Rihanna.
Yes, they sang it really well.
They. What do you mean they?
Oh, all in harmony.
All.
It is a choir.
They have great voices, of course.
Of course.
Who is it? Who are they?
Is Giselle about to get in some weird orgy with an Irish folk band?
Is it The Cause?
Is it the cause?
Is it Jim Core? And the others? Sharon will not approve of this.
Seriously.
Why do I know all the cores?
Embarrassed.
Do you know all the members of like NSYNC and things like that?
Yeah, do you want me to list them now?
Yeah.
Lance Bass.
Yeah.
Jay Chazet.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake.
Yes.
Joey Fatone.
Joey Fatone.
Joey Fat One.
And the other one.
And the other one.
And the other one, we got there.
Every boy band has another one, don't they? Anthony Costa.
Don't tell me it's NSYNC.
Yeah, NSYNC jumped on Giselle. Not Lance. For obvious reasons.
Lance is coordinating the effort.
I didn't think Lance Bass would feature in this episode, but there you go.
What a flight of fancy.
Yes, they sang it really well. All in harmony. They have great voices, of course. If I didn't know you better, I'd say you were suffering from a type of Stockholm syndrome, mused Belinda. How many of them did you say there were?
She didn't say how many there were, number one. Number two,
Stockholm syndrome, isn't that when you're a cat?
yeah, when you're captive
Yeah,
and then you
that you love,
fall in love with your captor. But then surely Belinda has Stockholm syndrome too, because she had a great old time in the maze.
Yeah.
And loved the Duchess.
Yes, good point.
Pot kettle, Belinda.
People in glass houses shouldn't shag in mazes. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever the saying is.
God, you say that all the time.
If I had a pound. Ah, my first confession, Belinda. I told Tony there were 6 of them, but actually, there were only 3. Belinda let a slow whistle emit through her teeth. like a boiling kettle.
She's too hot.
She's done. Belinda let a slow whistle emit through her teeth and thought, 6 would definitely have been better than 3.
Oh.
Classic Belinda.
Oh.
She's such a guzzle guts.
Yeah,
isn't she so
isn't she?
greedy?
So, they marched into the building between the cars and up to the bed where I was sitting naked. They reminded me a bit of the 7 Dwarves.
Except there were 3 of them.
And there's no mention of them being dwarves.
There might be.
Never second guess Rocky Flintstone.
Yeah. They reminded me a bit of the 7 Dwarves. They always went everywhere in a line.
And what are these ones called? Like shaggy, cummy, and dirty.
Dirty. I love that you ran out of things. And just a little bit dirty.
Fetishy.
Grubby. All they were wearing was a black thong.
All 3 of them were sharing one.
So it didn't take them long to get ready for action. Well, then they started to kiss me all over, and eventually one of them, called Kevin, started to lick my pussy.
Oh, Kevin. That's very forward.
Kevin!
We'll be Instagramming that.
So, a trio of singers. One of them's called Kevin, who's obviously the most forward one.
Irish singers.
Irish singers.
Singing an Irish song, not Irish
Oh,
singers.
sorry, yeah, you're right, okay. But why would they be singing that obscure Irish song if they
Lassie
weren't
Go.
Irish?
Love that song.
It's a top 10 hit for NSYNC. Well, then they started to kiss me all over, and eventually one of them, called Kevin, started to lick my pussy. Another, called Danny, massaged my tits, and a third, called Sean, kissed my ass.
Kiss my ass, Sean.
Kevin, Danny, and Sean.
And another, called Danny, massaged my tits, and a third, called Sean, kissed my ass.
Hang on.
That's literally a phrase that means fuck off. Kiss my ass, Sean.
Was he just like on a bunchy?
But she's attached to the bed. So how logistically is this possible? So
Oh, hang on. Alice is thinking about the
unless
logistics.
the 4-poster bed is a bunk bed.
Oh.
And so from beneath, somebody could be pecking at her tush.
Like a starved bird.
Like when like rabbits drink from those water bottles.
Exactly that.
Oh, God. Belinda wondered what Giselle was missing out. It all sounded terribly civilised, and she reckoned...
Civilised?
Missing out. What other body parts are there? Everything's covered.
Elbows? Sucked an elbow?
Jason was nibbling her kneecaps.
Belinda wondered what Giselle was missing out. It all sounded terribly civilised, and she reckoned she had had a harder time in the maze. Belinda said nothing and just nodded.
Oh, great.
She hasn't blinked yet.
Oh, she hasn't, you're right. This all lasted for about 10 minutes, with a bit of rotation going on between the lads.
Rotation. Lads, you cover the rotation. I'll just stay put.
And repo. Everyone moves around the body. This all lasted for about 10 minutes, with a bit of rotation going on between the lads. Between you and me, Danny was the best at licking my clit, though I never said anything, as I didn't want to upset any of them.
Oh, that's so polite.
If Kevin went in first as well, he must have thought, I'll start there.
He was warming her up.
I'll warm her up.
Yeah. I mean, they were all good, but Danny was definitely the best. Belinda started to wonder what Giselle was trying to say. Did she fancy Danny?
Who cares?
Also, no, he just was good at licking her clit.
And
Move
also,
on.
would it be outrageous?
Yeah.
He's already gone down on her. You fancy him? Well, yeah, fine.
In the meantime, of course, I started to pump their cocks with both hands. It was an easy...
How?
All three? Is it like
It's kind of like bell ringing, isn't it? You know.
to play a song? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dong, dong, dang, dong.
Dong, precisely.
Takes a lot of coordination, that, you know, to kind of...
But no,
It's
you're
like
right.
skiing, almost.
All of these references are right, but she's handcuffed to the bed.
It was an easy decision to make who got what. As...
Tit, tush, bush.
It was an easy decision to make who got what, as the one kissing my ass was out of reach, so they missed out.
Sean, you there?
Poor Sean.
Poor Sean.
I think that's why they started to rotate,
I
if you
see.
get my meaning. So it all makes sense, really. Belinda nodded her head again and thought, yes, I'd get a bit upset if I only had the rump and no stimulation.
Oh my God.
Besides, Danny's cock was really responding big time, so I started to give him a blowjob, and that sent the other two scrambling for my tits and clit.
Oh, God.
Scrambling to positions, people.
Yeah, it just sounds so messy and... It's
And
like
also-
a war zone. For the tits!
The air raid sirens being called.
Yeah. How was Danny's cock responding? How does a cock respond?
Well,
By getting erect,
I'm
surely.
concerned that you don't know.
No, I mean, well, presumably they will... All right.
What's your question? You can do it anonymously if you want.
Phone in.
Yeah, hi, caller. How was his cock responding? Because I presume they were all erect. So how was Danny showing he was more aroused than the others?
Well, he would say that he'd come if he'd come.
Yeah, I don't think he's come yet. I think
it's
he's
probably
just really...
like rigid, you know?
Yeah, it's like harder than the other two, maybe.
Like rigor mortis is saying.
I'm so glad I brought this up.
Danny got hold of my hair and started to twist it while I continued working his cock down my throat.
Like a sword.
He really enjoyed that and came the next minute.
What, is he twisting the hair a bit like the hair in the maze?
Yeah.
Is he the maniac?
Oh,
He's the maniac!
God.
He's the maniac!
What's his name?
Danny.
Danny the Maniac.
Danamaniac.
Danamaniac.
Oh my God, of course.
So this is how Giselle...
So when she staggers out and she's like, Jesus Christ, why is she like...
Yeah.
She was tarred and plucked and feathered
Yeah.
and whatever, wasn't she?
Props to Rocky. That is a well thought out.
Well, we haven't found out what happened yet.
No, but just the way it dawned on us there.
I know. Well, I feel like maybe our listeners have clocked that from
Yeah, maybe. Maybe we're being really slow.
sentence one.
Oh, maybe.
Sorry
Apologies
about
if
that.
so,
We
guys.
got a bit bogged down with NSYNC.
Still thinking about them.
Danny got hold of my hair and started to twist it while I continued working his cock down my throat. He really enjoyed that and came the next minute. I think that's when the scuffle broke out between the other two.
Oh, they were having a fight.
Is there a bar brawl?
You know, in their rush to get their cocks into my mouth.
Oh, God. Poor Giselle.
Wait, is it like he's coming? They're like, quick!
She's like, oh, well, that was...
Both at the same time.
Oh, I don't know.
Is there a name for that? Probably.
I don't know. You'd
Stop
know.
trying to Google it.
I think that's when the scuffle broke out between the other two, you know, in their rush to get their cocks into my mouth. Anyway, they only landed a couple of punches on each other.
Probably had a fight. Boys, desperate is a word that comes to mind here.
Anyway, they only landed a couple of punches on each other, with Sean coming off the worst. He must have a beautiful black eye today, thinking about it.
Poor Sean.
Oh my
Sean's
God.
really got the raw end, quite literally, of the deal.
Giselle laughed, and Belinda grimaced slightly. She couldn't believe what she was hearing.
It's not that exciting.
Also, why is Giselle laughing about...
Sean got beaten to a pulp.
Idiot.
Sean's like concussed somewhere.
And I farted in his face.
James's idea of a sexy joke.
Giselle laughed, and Belinda grimaced slightly. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. Is that how you got your limp? Asked Belinda.
What?
What limp?
Giselle had a limp, didn't she?
Does she?
God, this chapter requires a lot of
Knowledge.
remembering back to the obscure Tombola episode. Okay.
I would recommend, if people are struggling, to go back and listen
Yeah.
to chapter 7, the Tombola,
Yeah.
which is where a lot of this originated.
Is that how you got your limp? Asked Belinda. No, but I'll come to that bit later. As I said, Kevin won the tussle for the next blowjob, and I duly obliged him. He wasn't as turned on as Danny. Probably the punch to his lip from Sean didn't help.
That'll do it.
But you know me, Belinda. I never admit defeat, and I got him to respond after a few minutes of prick teasing with my tongue and lips. Once he was up, it was child's play.
He was up. And when he was down, he was down.
Once he was
Once
up,
he was up, he was up. Once he was down, he was down.
Once he was up, he was down.
Way up and up, not down.
so we're none the wiser then. Good.
So he was neither up nor down.
He was neither up nor down, but once he was up, it was child's play to complete the job.
Ew, that is
Don't
not
say that.
child's play. Oh my God.
And he
What?
came quickly. That only left Sean, who hadn't had an ejaculation at this point of the session.
Oh my God. What is with the really, really just gross, sterile language?
Sean's barely had anything at this point, bless him.
So in all fairness, I had to concentrate on him.
He's had a face full of ass, poor Sean.
At that point, the spa assistants came out of the side room and approached the two girls.
I thought you meant by the four-poster bed. I was like, why were they there?
No, we're out of the flashback. We're now back into real world at the Ritz. Ladies, it's time to remove the mud packs, please, and then we'll get you to the sauna area. Oh my God, so they've been having this conversation with mud smeared all over their faces. Giselle and Belinda fell silent and enjoyed the mud pack removal process, which only took a few minutes. And with their robes on, they were led down a corridor to the sauna area. The assistant poured out some champagne into 2 fancy, delicately cut flutes.
Delicate!
Impeccable.
Put 2 small white towels on their chairs and disappeared into a side room. I feel like that is a trope of Rocky's there, you know, really inane kind of admin stuff that gets you from A to B that no one cares about.
And he also loves...
a fancy, delicately cut flute.
He just loves drinks receptacle detail.
Big fan of glassware. This is great, said Belinda. I could certainly get used to this standard of gym very easily.
Gym?
It's a spa, love.
It's famously a spa.
If she thinks sipping champagne with mud on her face is the gym, she must be big.
What, you think Belinda's a larger lady?
I think she's probably curvy.
I think she's just buxom.
Yeah. Cheers, Belinda, said Giselle as she knocked back her champagne in one go.
Classy bird.
And you too, Giselle. Here's to a happy ending to your story.
Oh, happy ending.
We know what that means. Belinda followed Giselle's lead and knocked back her drink. Giselle got up, took the bottle out of the cooler and poured another 2 drinks. Give a shit.
Yeah, this is a lot of admin.
I feel like I was there and not in a good way.
Let's take these into the steam room and get started. These glasses are actually very posh plastic, so they won't break.
Oh my God, we don't care.
No, they're not. I thought they were really fancy, it said a minute ago.
Delicate flute.
Don't care. Yeah, delicate, not thick picnic plastic.
There's a whole spin-off series for the glasses of Belinda Blinked.
These glasses are actually very posh plastic, so they won't break, said Giselle, and bring that small towel so you can sit on it. Belinda followed Giselle, who was still limping across the central area, into the first cubicle.
Dragging her leg behind her.
Belinda opened the glass door and let Giselle limp into the steam. They put down their towels and glasses next to each other.
For God's sake, Rocky. Can you skip this bit? Can you just pick a good line?
I'm picturing Giselle like a veteran now.
Yeah. He never says walk anymore. He just says limping everywhere.
She didn't limp down the hall to the room for the mud packs.
She's a war hero. They put down their towels and glasses next to each other and waited for their eyes to accustom to the murky interior. Already inside were 2 well-tanned ladies with fantastic asses and good-sized tits.
Oh, well done them.
They were around 35 years old and obviously enjoying each other's company.
What does that mean?
Oblivious to the newcomers, they were kissing and fondling each other's breasts with some enthusiasm.
At the Ritz? This is a classy establishment. Behave yourselves.
This is a fantastic gym. I'd rather this didn't happen there.
But I feel like if you want to do that sort of thing, there's places you can go, not the Ritz.
Giselle looked at Belinda. And Belinda looked at Giselle.
Belinda blinked.
No.
Giselle limped.
If you can't beat them, join them was the phrase that came into both of their minds.
Oh, come on.
Without further ado, Giselle kissed Belinda full on the mouth. And Belinda responded by touching Giselle's nipples.
Just the nipples.
Just the nipples.
Very specific.
Tiny little nipples.
Belinda softly moaned as Giselle's hands snaked down to her clitoris and she opened her legs, just a touch, to allow Giselle further access.
Further access.
Yeah, it sounds like you're getting
Talk about a VIP pass.
Hey!
In return, Belinda took one hand away from Giselle's breast and traced a line down her body to her vagina. With a deft movement... Drink. She pulled her lips apart. Oh, God.
And went, hello, Belinda. How are you?
It's a ventriloquist dummy.
It's not Jim Henson's studio.
Back for more?
She pulled her lips apart and found her hot spot.
Hot spot? Like Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi? What's a hot spot?
I guess G-spot is what he means.
I guess, but you don't... She's pulling the lips apart like the curtains on a grand theatre stage, which I don't feel good about.
She pulled her lips apart and found her hot spot. The small nub of flesh became wet extremely quickly.
What nub of flesh? What is he referring to?
What nub?
I'm assuming
Alice.
the clitoris.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, God.
No doubt helped by the invasive steam.
Oh, God.
Don't call it a nubbin, a little nub.
I'm sorry, hold your breath. The small nub of flesh became wet
Oh, that actually
extremely
just
quickly.
really turned my stomach.
No doubt helped by the invasive steam.
Oh, the nub. This is such a pup.
Ugh. Now I feel like the office cat. Giselle murmured softly in Belinda's ear after a few moments.
Oh, God.
This is not the place.
It really isn't. You're
No
in the
fucking
Ritz.
shit, Sherlock.
Belinda nodded, sat back, and sipped her champagne. Giselle did the same, and they watched the other two women for any sign of acknowledgement. None came. Everyone's privacy was intact, and after a few more minutes, Belinda and Giselle decided to have lunch.
That was so fleeting. It's like, oh, there it is. Should we go?
Belinda directed the conversation over lunch back to a question she'd been meaning to ask all morning.
I thought you were going to say back to a vagina because everything gets guided back there.
What was the name of the organisation these Irishmen worked for, Giselle?
Who cares?
No, this is important.
Why?
Everyone there was to do a deal, right?
Yeah. Ah, Belinda the businesswoman appears, laughed Giselle. What would you say if I didn't know? Well, don't answer that, as I'm only teasing you.
Banter. Bantosaurus Rex there.
They are such boring co-workers.
That's
aren't
so
they?
boring.
The chat is so boring.
Dry.
Imagine 5 hours with Belinda. 5 hours with Giselle. You would probably end up
I'm sure you'd find things to do.
Well, that's what I mean. You just would out of boredom.
Belinda pulled a face and stuck her very sweet tongue out at Giselle.
Sweet.
Okay. McDonough brothers from Dublin. They have 6 cash and carries throughout Ireland.
Cash and carries. So damn market.
They've only got 6.
And also, what cash and carry sells pots and pans?
Really good cash and carries.
They have 6 cash and carries throughout Ireland and another 7 in Boston and Chicago. Very well established.
Boston, Chicago, and Dublin.
Very well established and definitely of interest to us. They already do some business with us, but nowhere near their full potential. That's the story of this company we work for, replied Belinda.
Great retort. As ever.
Giselle nodded and poured another 2 flutes of champagne.
How many glasses are we on now?
They're not driving, that's why I got the tube.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yes, and with my assistance, I reckon we can get them on board. Very business and leadership, this,
Yeah.
you know.
So
boring.
wait.
But I think when she means assistant, she means sexual
Sexy time.
assistant.
Yes, and with my assistance, I reckon we can get them on board. We? Don't you mean me? Or are you taking over sales as well as Tony's job? Replied Belinda.
You can drop the sass, Belinda. We're a team, said Giselle. I've just added that line.
Oh my God, well, you are reading her mind. Belinda, I mean we, you and me, the team.
Yes.
Okay, I understand. And thanks. I've always found it hard to tie down the Irish. They tend to squirm so much. Just like a worm, replied Giselle.
Calm down.
And speaking of which, interrupted Belinda, how did you lose your hair?
Speaking of
Are they still not growing back even when they're at the Ritz?
She's bald.
She's not still plucked. She's not at the spa. That's what one of the towels was for, to cover up her head.
Is she wearing a swimming cap?
It looks like she is, but it's just
She
as
doesn't need
she
one.
is.
Well, Belinda, I have to admit, I got fucked so hard.
Her hair fell
Some
out.
of my hair.
Oh my God.
That's not a thing.
Her hair fell out in shock.
Hang on.
It can go grey in shock, perhaps.
It's a genital disease I've inherited
A
from my
genital?
mother. I think he means a genetic.
Or congenital,
Yeah, or congenital.
which
yeah.
is very different. It should
Yeah.
not be bandied around in the same context.
What does
Yeah.
congenital mean?
So, like inherited.
Yeah, because he said it.
Genital.
It's a genital disease I've inherited from my mother. No, Dad,
Rocky.
no. Oh, God.
I don't know of any STIs that make your hair fall out when you've
No.
had a really good shag.
She's got alopecia.
Yeah, but like good shag alopecia.
That was the only distressing part of the whole afternoon. I'd lost my beautiful blonde hairstyle. It'll take months to get those curves back.
That's mental.
Curls?
Sorry, no, let's just revisit this. She was getting shagged quite hard. Her hair was just coming out in clumps. Imagine, you'd be terrified.
But also, you know what this means?
What?
Tony's never given her a good shag
That's
because
so
she's got a full head of
true.
hair.
Yeah.
So Tony's shit in bed. And also, so's Belinda, because Belinda's had sex with Giselle as well.
And she's still got a glossy mane.
Yeah.
Or at least she did.
Giselle fell silent. Belinda put a hand on hers and said, so well, there's a comma there. Belinda put a hand on hers and said, you know, it suits you, this short hair. Well, no hair, thought Belinda, rolling her eyes.
So two-faced.
You bitch.
Okay, it could have been more curvy.
Curly.
What is
Curly.
Okay, it could have been more curvy, but it's really modern. A statement.
What? Having just clumps of hair missing?
Giselle smiled and said, thank you, dear friend. But what I don't understand is your limp.
None of us do.
Giselle blushed.
Oh, what did she do?
I slipped on a pool of semen and wrenched my ankle.
It's like when, you're younger, you got like a love bite and you used to have to make an excuse for it. What excuses is Giselle going to make for a bald head and a limp?
Yeah, can you imagine the opener? You're never going to guess. It's like, no, I really won't. Go on.
Yeah, exactly.
I slipped on some semen.
Belinda said, how terrible, Giselle. You could have broken your arm. Or worse still, bruised your tits.
Bruise your tits.
Giselle nodded, shivered and said, you won't tell Tony all the truth, will you?
All the truth. All the truth. What you know. Concoct me again.
I don't want him to think that I'm clumsy or know I have a genetic defect.
Genital.
Genetic, he's put genetic there.
I think he's going to know from the fact there's very little hair on your head.
Giselle, I'm your friend. We have each other's backs. Besides, I smell another multi-million-dollar deal in the pipeline. A, you're English, stop saying dollar.
From the McDonut brothers, or whatever they were called.
They've got 13 cash and carries, Alice.
A multi-million deal.
dollar deal.
Globally.
Dollar. It would be euro, for starters.
They both laughed, and Belinda thought, I'm not going to ask you about Danny McDonough. It could be too personal and too early.
Too early? Sorry, too early. She's just shared that she gave, 3 blowjobs, one guy, she slipped in a semen.
Yeah.
What hasn't she shared?
That's true.
Danny McDonough. Oh, Danny boy.
And that is the end of
is it?
chapter 1 of Belinda Blink 2.
That was quite a beast.
It was a long one, wasn't it?
I mean, there were reveals.
Yeah.
And we have been waiting since chapter 7, book 1 for some of these reveals.
What has shown me is that Rocky is thinking about the bigger story.
Yeah.
Or at least he's backtracking and going, I didn't really write a story in book 1, so now's my chance to rectify that.
Yeah, I introduced all these characters and never mentioned them again. I better say something about them.
Makes you think what else we're going to discover this book.
Yeah, we're going to flesh out the world, which is quite exciting.
It's such a joy to be back in the world of stills, pots and pans.
I know, isn't it?
Hashtag Belinda's back, and she's not going anywhere.
She's really not. And do you want to know what next week's chapter's called?
Yes!
So next week, we all look forward to the joys of Belinda Blink 2, chapter 2, Amsterdam.
How many extra M's?
3.
So she's off to Amsterdam, I can only assume.
Yeah, so she's off to Amsterdam next week. Book 2 starts properly in Amsterdam.
We'd love to hear what you think of book 2 so far. We loved reading all your messages about book 1. And there's a lot of ways you can get in touch with us. We've got Twitter, which is @DadWroteAPorno.
Instagram, which is @MyDadWroteA. We are so impressed by the images that you send in for that. They are eye-watering.
They really are. And we're on Facebook as well, My Dad Wrote a Porno. So get in touch, chat to us, and leave us a review on iTunes, because that really helps us find new listeners, which would be great.
So we'll be back Monday with a brand new chapter, and we'll be back Thursday with a footnote.
Guys, I've got us VIP passes for the Ritz Spa if you want to go.
Oh my God.
Why are we still here?
Get your coats.